YouTube, what is going on? It is Pistons Talk. We are back at it with another Q&A. I know sometimes when we do Above the Rim, some of you guys don't get the opportunity to get all of your questions answered. So I thought doing these weekly Q&As, maybe we can, get your questions across. So if you guys have any questions you do want answered, let me know down below. Just drop your questions in the chat. Said if you guys have any Piston questions, draft questions, basketball questions, drop them down in the chat and I will try to answer them the best I can. Drew, what is going on? Just talking some basketball right now. I thought I would do a Q&A again. Like doing individual questions with people because maybe someone asks a question and doesn't get answered. I don't want them to feel discouraged if they think their question's bad or not. I want to try to answer it the best I can. King Lion, what is good? So if you guys have any All right, we're back. My internet took a shit for a minute. Said you guys have any questions, drop them down below. I'll try to answer them the best I can. Try to get some more people on this live stream. While we are waiting for some people to jump onto this live stream, you guys have probably heard about J. Cole and the Detroit Pistons. And, it's kind of a weird situation that the Pistons are in right now. Not on, I didn't mean to say in. But I want to know what you guys think of this J. Cole thing. I actually was kind of, I don't want to say negative about it, but it was kind of a situation where, I didn't really understand why he was doing it, but apparently it's been a dream of his for a long time. Ravi and Sornara, the strong duo, what is up? Thank you for dropping by. Like I said, you guys have any Piston questions? Here we go. First question. Shout out to Michael. What did I think about the scuffle between Dante Hall and Giannis? I loved it, Michael, actually. I know Dante Hall's not a guy to really, back down by any means. He's a guy that, I thought the Pistons were actually going to give him a shot. Like I said, we had 2 10 days for the guy, but we never really got to see him play too much. I loved it. I don't really know why Giannis got so upset about it. I don't think he's really used to physicality like that. A lot of people just kind of give up when they're guarding him because they don't want to get dunked on. But Dante, it's just a tough dude. I like it. Brooklyn signed him, so I'm kind of salty about it, but I like him a lot. Okay, that has nothing to do with the Pistons, Ravi, but yeah, I think everyone watched The Wiggles as a kid. I know I did maybe once and I turned it off. Like I said, you guys have any Piston questions, feel free to drop them down below. Basketball questions, doesn't matter. I will try to answer them all the best I can. So, like I said, you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the chat. Well, it doesn't seem like you guys have too many questions, but I mean, we could talk about other stuff. You guys have probably been following the news. Oh, here we go. King Lion. Jordan, I like that. This is a good question. Shout out to King Lion. Jordan Bone's contract is up soon. Do you see the Pistons re-signing him? King Lion, yeah, I do. I see the Pistons re-signing Jordan Bone. Didn't really get to see too much of Bone. Like, really limited garbage time with him. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Pistons did give him another contract. Maybe not a two-way, maybe kind of a cheaper minimum deal. And who knows if he gets a shot. I don't really know what their plans are going forward when it does come to point guards, but I could see him definitely getting re-signed. King, good question. So, what do you think of a good Kuzma trade for the Pistons would have done at the deadline? What do I think of a good trade? You know, there were some. I want to say there were rumors that he was involved in the Derrick Rose trade with Caruso, but I don't think the Lakers were really willing to part with Kuzma, Michael. And I don't know. I see why some Pistons fans want him because of the Flint ties. I mean, he's a really good player, but I don't really know if the Pistons would be interested in bringing him in. I'm sure the Lakers would be asking a lot for a guy like Kyle Kuzma. But no, I did not see your question at first. I think I have a lag right now on this stream. I don't know if it was my internet or what. But yeah, I don't. I said unless Kuzma really does bad and his trade value plummets, yeah, maybe eventually we could see a Kuzma trade involving your Detroit Pistons. But that is not a bad question. I know there were a lot of fans that, wanted Kuzma, probably because of the Michigan ties. But hey, we do like our players from Flint, Michigan. Even if, they didn't even play for a Michigan State or a Michigan, we love to support our guys. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them down below. Devin, I saw your comment, but for some reason, StreamYard won't let me post it because they deem it offensive. But Dante Hall bitched Giannis. Yeah, he did. He definitely did bitch Giannis. That was actually kind of funny, man. Honestly, I don't really like. Honestly, they wouldn't even let me put it on because you said bitched. But oh well. Yeah, he really did. I don't think Giannis likes contact. Honestly, he just elbowed him a little bit, and he got all defensive over it. I don't really see how he was upset. Got another one from King Lion. Do you think Blake Griffin will stay in Detroit for the rest of his contract? Ooh, tough question. I'm gonna say no. I think if the Detroit Pistons have an opportunity to get off Blake's contract, they will. Now, will it happen? I don't know. I'm an outsider looking in like you guys. I'm just a fan at the end of the day. I think if there's an opportunity to get off Blake's contract, they will take that in a heartbeat just because it's so much money. But you can't deny what kind of leadership Blake does bring to the Pistons. You can't deny, when healthy, his production is really great. He's a top 3 power forward when healthy, but I don't know. It really depends what the trade market is for him, and we don't know. The Chicago bubble is unlikely. How does it affect Detroit? Good question, Devin. At first I thought it would affect Detroit, a lot. But I think these players, like low key, are actually doing, more than the individual workouts they were in Detroit. Like, I just saw a video of Bruce Brown on his Instagram story running the gym, doing 5-versus-5 stuff. I think the players are still going to play. Now, whether the Detroit Pistons know about it or not, hey, they might just do it on the down low and work out because they're just not going to sit around. They're going to want to play basketball at the end of the day. So I don't really think it's going to affect the Detroit Pistons that much. We're just not going to be able to watch it. But like I said, basketball players are going to play basketball at the end of the day, coronavirus or not. Nobody would try the second bubble. What was the point of it? Michael, the point of it was kind of like, you're not going to like see like a Derrick Rose or a Blake Griffin there. This was strictly for younger players in development and probably just scrimmages from like what the articles I read. That's all they really wanted to do. But I don't think the NBA wants to do it because you have to look at it as a marketing standpoint for the NBA. And the NBA doesn't really think outside of Golden State. I mean, those teams really don't draw in a lot of TV games, right? So nobody outside of Michigan is saying, hey, I got to go watch the Pistons. It's just, it's just a weird situation. I'd like to see it, but hey, it is what it is. You asked another one that I just saw. My brother doesn't think Blake will return well. What do you think about that? I hope he does come back healthy. He's had 2 arthroscopic surgeries on that right knee. And, arthroscopic surgeries are a very small incision. It's not like a deep cut. So basically just cleanup surgery, really. I don't really know how he's going to come back. I mean, I felt like we rushed him back too soon. I went to the first preseason game this year, and he didn't look right. It didn't look like that knee fully healed. And Blake's the type of player that's really stubborn, and he's not going to actually just sit on his ass and rehab. He just wants to get out there. So it's going to be up to Blake's stubbornness and whether he'll actually take the rehab, 100% seriously. I think he's just really wanting to get out there, and you can't really blame a guy for that. 15 days from the lottery until we get Melo. Let's hope, Devin. I'm hoping the Pistons get lucky this year. I'm hoping we don't get screwed. Man, 26% chance of getting that 7 pick, man. I really hope that does not happen. I'm hoping for a top 4 pick, but we will definitely see what happens with the lottery. If you guys have just hopped on here, I'm doing a Q&A. You guys can ask any kind of Pistons questions, basketball questions in general. I'll try to answer them the best I can. J. Cole to the Pistons. Now, I made a video about it, and I thought it was more of a marketing standpoint for him, and I didn't really believe that it was real. I thought it was just for, I don't know, bigger, maybe promoting music, promoting something. But someone sent me an article that he wrote in the Players Tribune, and I'll link it in the description for you guys that want to check it out. It's a really good article, and it's actually been a dream of his for quite a while to play in the NBA. And I have to respect him for that, chasing his dreams. At 35, it's kind of hard to say whether he even makes the team. Maybe the Pistons put him on the preseason roster and then maybe just cut him. It'd be good for the Pistons. It'd be, I don't know, kind of cool to see, but we'll see what happens with this J. Cole situation. Excuse me, did not mean to burp. Let's see what we got. We got King Lion. Do you think Blake Griffin's bad contract is the reason Drummond got traded? No. I can kind of go into detail why Drummond got traded. King, the reason why Drummond got traded was the contract extension. It had nothing to do with Blake's contract. Drummond wanted an extension from the Detroit Pistons. And you may be thinking, well, he was under contract. Why would he want an extension? I think he wanted more money from the Pistons. Yeah, he still has 30 million left, but that 30 million isn't going to last forever. And when the front office decided not to give him that extension, that's when we started seeing I can't wait to test free agency, because the Pistons front office refused to extend him. I think Drummond knew that there was a possibility the Pistons may move on from him or not, but it was kind of sad to see him go. They never really gave him an elite point guard to play with. I mean, you had a Brandon Jennings, Reggie Jackson before he got hurt, Will Bynum. He really didn't get a good point guard to, drop him lob passes, drop him dimes. I mean, the fact that he averaged like 13 to 15 points by himself is pretty good. And, have a lot of respect for Drummond, wish him well, but this front office failed him as a whole. He'd be our third string point guard in years. Yeah, I don't even know that. Like, it would be a bad look if the Pistons did that, because there's going to be a lot of G League guys, or a lot of, guys that went undrafted, saying, the only reason why J. Cole got a roster spot is because of his fame and fortune. And I don't think the Pistons want to have that attached to their front office, because it'll be a bad look for, maybe people wanting to come here. But like I said, he'll probably make a preseason roster. Who knows? Michael, again, there's a theory the draft is rigged because of two of the brokest franchise last year. The Grizzlies and Pelicans got the first and second picks, and the Pistons are pretty broke. What's your opinion? That is a very good question, Michael. It would make sense for the NBA to do that, because the Pistons, I mean, they're not like a terribly broke franchise, but they're not a big market right now, right? I don't know if the NBA would like grant us a top pick just because we're not like in a good situation. But I do think the Pelicans thing was actually rigged. That's just a conspiracy theory with me. I believe that the Pelicans, after trading Anthony Davis, the league didn't want to have a bad look for that, so they just awarded Zion to the Pelicans. As for Memphis, I think it was just a stroke of luck for them. I don't really think it was a conspiracy theory of them getting a second pick. I do think the Pelicans won for sure, but not the Grizzlies so much. LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards are my two favorite players in the draft. Who are my top two? So my top two players in the draft are LaMelo Ball is probably my first prospect that I like the most. And my second prospect I like, man, there's so many. If I had to choose, it's probably going to be Obi Toppin. I like Obi Toppin a lot. Doesn't make sense for the Pistons, but I know he's going to have a really good career, because we have so many power forwards. But I mean, I wouldn't really be surprised if they were in a situation when, if he's on the board, they might draft him because of the best player available situation. But they'll probably go for point guards this draft for sure. So if you guys have any more questions, feel free to drop them down below in the chat. Try to answer all of your questions. How far up would I take Kyrie Lewis? Ooh. I feel like he's going to be there between 7 and 14. So let's say the Pistons fall in that scenario. Let's say they fall to, I don't know, 6 through 8. I would take him around there because he's going to be there. He's a really good like backup plan if we do fall. But I'm hoping we do not fall, Devin. I really hope we don't. Got another one from King Lion. Do you think Kennard will finally have a breakout season Detroit fans have been waiting to see? I do if he can stay healthy. I hope he can stay healthy. But if he can't stay healthy, man, like I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing more trade rumors, you know? Like it's nothing against him as a player, but he's going to have to give us a season where he's 100% healthy. I'm talking like 70 plus games of Kennard for me. That's what it would take for me for him to have a breakout season because the talent's there. It's just he's been so injury prone lately. I want to see him stay healthy. But good question, King. You guys have any more questions? You can ask me anything. I really don't care. Anything Pistons, anything basketball related. Above the rim tonight. You know, I know JMO, Bravo, Drew, and CA3 are going to be on that. I don't think I'm going to be on that. I think they're just going to be talking about basketball. I don't really know what they're talking about today. I don't know. But I will probably be watching it. I won't be on it. So here's a good question for you guys. Let's see. Who do I have in the finals this year? I'm going to have, man, it's a toss-up between the Lakers and Clippers, but I'm going to take the Clippers and the Bucks for the NBA finals. Just slightly. I don't know. I hope, you know, LeBron can give us a really good playoff run. He seemed a little bit step slow in this bubble, but maybe he's just conserving his energy. But, you know, hopefully we can get someone like that in the finals because I think it'd be really good for TV. Who do you got in the finals, Devin? I'd like to hear that. You don't think the Lakers got it? No, I don't. Me either. I really don't think the Lakers got it this year. I don't know. Like losing Avery Bradley and Raja. Like if they had Avery Bradley and Rajon Rondo right now, my opinion might change because one, there is no such thing as playoff Rondo. He really does step up his game, and losing a perimeter defender like Avery Bradley was a huge loss for the Lakers. I know they have Danny Green. I know they have KCP. You know, it's just They're going to struggle. Clippers in Heat. That's a hot take. I was actually talking to my buddy. I thought the Heat and the Raptors could actually give the Bucks some trouble when it does come for a team coming out of the East. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the Heat or the Raptors. Yeah, the Heat are a really good team. I mean, just the young players they have, like shooters like Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. You got Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler. I mean, they have a really good, system and players. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised by the Heat too. Like if you don't watch a lot of their games or you didn't get to catch some of their games this year, you probably don't know how good they actually are. And Raptors are still the Raptors, man. I mean, Kawhi or not, they're still in the, pretty much same position as they were, last year. So that's actually kind of impressive. What kind of player in the draft fits best with the young players we got right now? So if I were to look by position, I think the best players that fit with the Pistons, you have to take a look at LaMelo Ball King. He would be awesome in, the open court. He'd be good in transition. If we're talking point guards, you could even throw Killian Hayes and Kyra Lewis into that mix. If we're talking shooting guards, obviously Anthony Edwards, because he's going to be a top 2 pick. He's got the full package. Reminds me a lot of Bradley Beal. And he's just a really good player. Another shooting guard, maybe Devin Vassell, very underrated shooter. Kind of a catch and shoot shooter, but he's a really good defender. I think a lot of people will be surprised by him. If you're going small forwards, Isaac Okoro, maybe, just because he's a good defender, and the Pistons need more production at that shooting. Small forward, not shooting guard, sorry. Small forward position. Power forwards, obviously, Obi Toppin. And that's about it. Not too many good power forwards, just okay power forwards in this draft. And if we're going centers, Onyeka Okongwu would fit with the Pistons, and so would James Wiseman, in my opinion. I know a lot of Pistons fans don't want to draft a center. I don't either, but they do fit with the Pistons and what the players we have right now. Oh, that was a mouthful. Wow. I don't think Giannis wins a ring this year in the Bucks unless they add another star. Yeah, I mean, Giannis's number 2 is Chris Middleton. And no disrespect to Chris Middleton, he's just not a good I'm not going to say he's not a good player because he is. He's just not that star that they need. And yeah, I just don't see it working out either. Because I think they can definitely lose some games. I mean, they've lost a couple so far, and I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped a couple in the playoffs. Devin, I've heard of him, but I haven't really watched too much on him. I haven't had a chance to. I know someone was talking to me about him. I don't think he's available this year, is he? Might be for next year. Untitled Talk, I never bought my account. I built it from scratch, actually. I never bought my Instagram account. But there's tons of Pistons accounts probably for sale if you reach out to them. I don't know. It's up to you, man. You just got to look for certain accounts on Instagram. I'm sure someone's selling one. Oh, he did declare for the draft. Okay. Interesting. I know some guy messaged me and he was really hyping him up. I did watch some clips on him, and he seems pretty nice. I don't know if a team will, take a chance on him, but hey, you never know. Maybe he goes undrafted. I gotta go center because we don't really have one right now. I mean, you could say Christian Wood could play center, but I really don't want him to play center. I'd rather him play power forward, which is it's his natural position, but you gotta address a center, possibly a small forward. I mean, we have Sekou, we have Tony Snell, but I think we need to address a small forward too. I don't know about him. He was in Canada and debating going to Michigan State or going to the draft, and he chose to draft 6'5" Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe he goes undrafted. Who knows? But it's weird. Man, if Michigan State got another like 5-star recruit, man, I think Michigan fans would lose their shit. Honestly. No, he's not. Like, so the guy that reported this, Devin, is a guy that runs a really popular Twitter and Instagram called Legion Hoops, and his name's Ross. Ross claims to have a lot of sources, and he kind of just, made an assumption that, Bam may be available. And it was like a really like vague, like, yeah, everyone's available on a team, you could argue. But I don't see Bam leaving the Heat. And if you want to buy into the Giannis to the Heat or Victor Oladipo to the Heat, I mean, go for it. But I don't see them losing a guy that they have a lot of stock in right now. Bam is probably their second best player on the team right now. I don't see him leaving the Heat at all. Who do I like at center? I like Montrezl Harrell at center a lot. It's obviously the best choice. I mean, you could go Harry Giles, kind of like a low-end center. I don't know if you would start Harry Giles, but he could definitely come off your bench. Aaron Baines, maybe you could bring him back. I mean, there's a lot of centers that you could bring to the Detroit Pistons this year. And let me just pull up a list and you guys could tell me. So Serge Ibaka, I'm okay. Tristan Thompson, no thanks. Marc Gasol, no. Hassan Whiteside, Derek Favors, Aaron Baines, Enes Kanter has a player option, Dwight Howard, DeMarcus Cousins, I made a video about. Robin Lopez has got a player option, Frank Kaminsky. I mean, those are just some of the guys that are available. But I would probably go Montrezl Harrell. I would take a gamble on DeMarcus Cousins. Even if DeMarcus Cousins is like 60% of what he was, I would still take a flyer on him. And if he gets hurt, what would kind of be beneficial from that is you got to think in the back of your mind, the Pistons have a lot of injury-prone players. And let's say the Pistons want to rebuild for another season. The 2021 NBA draft is going to be pretty good. I want to get Wendell Carter. Wendell Carter, if we can get him cheap. Yeah, I don't really know what the Bulls are doing right now. He is available, I guess, in trades. That's a lot. I guess a lot of teams are asking about Lauri Markkanen and Wendell Carter Jr. and even Zach LaVine to an extent, Devin. But I don't really know what the Bulls are going to do with that whole core. Obviously, they have a new GM, and he's assessing the team. I don't really know what he's going to do, but hey, if we can get a player like a Wendell Carter Jr., or man, a Lauri Markkanen or a Zach LaVine for the low end, I think the Pistons would be interested in that because they're still really young. It's okay, Ben. I started, I had no idea that Above the Rim was today because we usually do it Saturdays. They decided doing it Wednesday, so I don't really know what's going on. I haven't really been on my phone too much, so I just found that out actually today. So I didn't really mean to do a live stream when they're doing a live stream. Said if you guys have any questions, basketball, Pistons questions, drop them in the chat. I want Bryn Forbes. Ooh, nice. I like that. I want Bryn Forbes, Mo Harkless, cheap players who make big impacts. I like Bryn Forbes. I like Mo Harkless too. I know it might have been you that mentioned, I made a small forward list, and you mentioned Mo Harkless, I believe. And I think the Pistons would be interested in Mo Harkless. Really good defensively, and he's kind of got a okay offensive game, but he would be a really good pickup. Bryn Forbes too. I don't know if the Pistons are going to re-sign Langston Galloway or not. I don't think they do, but I could be wrong. You could definitely plug Bryn Forbes into Langston's role. Josh Jackson also, another young guy that you could take a flyer on. I mean, he did okay his first year in Phoenix, and then he had all that. I want to say it was a DUI or got caught with something, but I would give him a chance. I mean, he was killing it in the G League. I don't see why not. Do we make a trade? Do we make a draft night trade? It depends. I mean, if there's another team out there that wants to maybe throw in a big contract and we get another trade asset, I could definitely see that happening. The Bucks did it with Tony Snell. Ned Stefanski convinced them to take John Lure. So, hey, you never know. It definitely could happen, Devin. I wouldn't be surprised. Hopefully we just don't draft like we did last time. That Servetus draft, there's some news coming about that Servetus stuff, why we picked him. Apparently, I don't know if you guys know this, but Servetus' agent is Arn Tellum's nephew. So that's a big reason why we took Servetus, just because it's Arn Tellum's nephew and he represents Servetus. So that's just a big mistake in my opinion. Just because your nephew represents a player, no reason to draft him. Could have had Bol or someone, but I don't know what we're gonna do with that kid because he's playing in Jerusalem for whatever reason. He was supposed to come over here, but he never did. Yeah, Ben, I wouldn't really be surprised by that either. Like a situation where we draft Edwards and trade Luke Kennard plus a future pick for a point guard in the draft. Edwards is a really good player, and I wouldn't really be surprised if the Pistons went that route just because he's a really good player. Like I said, I'm not trying to spew out negativity about Luke Kennard by any means, but if there's a trade out there available, like a first round pick for Luke Kennard, I'm taking that. I'm sorry. It's nothing against Luke. you're offering me a first-round pick for Luke Kennard, like say in the lottery or like around there, I'm going to take it. Definitely. Yeah. Man, I honestly thought the Pistons were going to draft Kevin Porter Jr. with their first-round pick. I did not expect him to fall down to 30. And that was just an absolute steal for the Cavs because that kid was supposed to be a lottery pick. He was not supposed to fall to 30. And, I mean, you can try to make an excuse that he had off-the-court issues, but his talent alone, he's just a really good player. Like, I don't know. I don't get the thought process with that with the Pistons. Someone said it was a money issue because you have to pay first-round guys more money, and we didn't have a lot of money at the time. But I would take a flyer in Kevin Porter Jr., honestly. Yeah, I like the getting Anthony Edwards and the guy like. Yeah, I mean, that would be really like a backcourt with Killian Hayes and Anthony Edwards, or a backcourt with Kyra Lewis and Anthony Edwards. That would be really good. Should the Pistons sign undrafted players in this draft? Yeah, they do it every year. I mean, Dante Hall, undrafted. They signed him. So you'll probably see guys that do get drafted that get sent to our new G League team. Still does not have a name, you guys. But that is something that we could probably do. And it sucks that we're not affiliated with the Drive anymore, but it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really like, I was kind of on board with Kevin Porter Jr. I think I wanted him, or I think the Pelicans got him. I think Alexander Walker was a guy that I was looking at. I wasn't too high on Romeo Langford, but KBJ would have been a solid choice at 15 if Sekou was gone. Definitely. Benjamin, there were reports about him wanting 10 to 15 million a year when his contract is up. I don't know if I'm the Pistons, I take that. I mean, he's a good shooter, but not 10 to 15 million good. I mean, I would probably pay him like anywhere from 6 to 9 maybe, or 6 to 8. I'm not giving him 15 million a year just for a shooter. It's not worth it in my opinion. It's too much money. It's nothing against Luke. It's just, you gotta stay healthy, man. So, I don't know if you guys saw, but there was an article that James Edwards wrote, and he was giving his assessment of the Detroit Pistons and Christian Wood. And he believes there's a 70% chance that Christian Wood resigns with the Detroit Pistons. After what he put on his Instagram stories last night, I would probably say it's an 80, 90% chance. I think Christian wants to stay in Detroit. So that is some good news for us Pistons fans that we are going to resign Christian Wood. I don't know how much for, but for sure. Bravo, I don't think I was invited, man. I didn't even know you guys were doing Above the Rim today, Bravo. I had no idea. I haven't been on my phone, and like I said, I did other stuff today. I really don't know. Yeah, I do think Svi will be better than Luke. And JMO, I know you're a big Luke fan, but yeah, I didn't know that, JMO. I scheduled this live stream Monday, I believe. I didn't know you guys were doing Above the Rim on a Wednesday. I had no clue. Haven't really been in the messages too much. Well, you guys are probably going to go watch Above the Rim, so I will cut this broadcast short. Don't want to interfere with them. But thank you guys for watching. Definitely try to do this, maybe once a week, once every other week to, I know there's some questions you guys don't get answered. in above the rim. And I want to try to answer each and every one of your questions. So feel free to reach out to me on social media, and talk to you guys next week. Take care.